Now, it is saying that I am live, but it is not showing I am live yet. And as we all know, I am actually live. So I'm glad you guys got to sit here and watch me stare at a screen for a couple of seconds, if not minutes. I want to encourage you to check me out at twitter.com/Lore Reloaded. Best way to get angry with me and unsubscribe from the channel, because apparently me acting like who I actually am is bad for business. Also, go to twitch.tv/Lore Reloaded. Follow me there, and maybe one day I will actually play on Twitch again, and the world will probably come to an end in that. So taking a look at it, we got Steve Morris up in the house, my favorite owl waifu. Polal, what's going on? Philip K. Thaddeus Johnson, always a pleasure. Today we'll be talking about Star Trek Picard. I'm not sure how long we'll be talking about. Probably not all that long. What is going on, William May? By the way, guys, if you are watching this, don't forget to hit that like button. The more people that like it, the more it's shared, the more other people see it, and the more we can have these brilliant conversations. So the reason I'm coming to you guys and hitting you up is because I wanted to discuss the new Star Trek Picard show and the possibility that it is effectively going to be Star Trek Firefly. Also, that is true, Cripple. Baltar didn't do nothing. Didn't do a thing. We also got Oratakawa Tinga. I'm here and you're live. That is true. What is going on, Scott Saleh? By the way, guys, just so you know, if you like it, another fun thing about liking it, if you look when you like it below, it actually attacks the little enemy thing I got down here. Also, you have super chats and other things, subscriptions will also kill the boss. And when you kill the boss, there's a brand new boss. It's a lot of fun. D. Meltz says Star Trek Discovery was great. That is an opinion that you hold. There are people who also think that the Earth is flat. We all have our opinions. That said, thank you so much for the support. It's due to super chats and support like this that helps me keep the lights on. Travis, what's going on? Nigel brought Zavage, Gelato, Trek Tech. So let's discuss Star Trek Picard and kind of get into what it's supposed to be about. So Star Trek Picard is supposed to be something different, which worries me. They keep talking about it being different, being away from the mold. And by away from the mold, what they're generally referring to is that it is going to be more cerebral, more, again, dramatic. They have also got a couple of actors and actresses that they've hired that is supposed to lead you to believe that it is going to be kind of a Picard versus Starfleet, that Starfleet is going in the wrong direction. And that Picard wants to fight Starfleet because of whatever negative things that are going on in it. And that really has me concerned and worried. Honestly, it makes me wonder if there's anything they can write that I would necessarily like. Because when I see Picard and they go in this direction, it makes me feel like it's getting too far away from the nostalgia trek. And that while it's probably not going to be Discovery, where there's just blasting of phasers everywhere, does it go too far in the opposite direction? I don't know. What do you guys think? Alway Fu, and it just talks about how we only talk about the things the live stream is for like 1 minute, and then we go off on random stuff. That is true. That is exactly how this works. What are you most hoping to see in the Picard series? I don't know what I'm hoping to see in the Picard series, because if I was to do a series, I wouldn't base it off of Picard, if I'm being honest with you. I honestly don't know what I'm hoping to see out of it. I would like I guess if I was to go back and really analyze, I would like to see the impacts of the Dominion War. I would be interested to see how Starfleet has changed. If they're going to make it cerebral or Picard against Starfleet, I would prefer to see it as a movement that Starfleet has gone too militaristic and Starfleet wants it to return to its TNG roots. I I don't want to see Firefly in space, though. I really have very little interest in seeing Firefly set in the Trek universe. But some of the things I'm seeing and have heard make me believe that it may be going that way. Jade Dixon, which is a better way to spend $6? Donate it to Lore Reloaded or get a CBS All Access subscription for a month and binge watch Discovery and Picard. I would say, Jade Dixon, it depends on how much of a fan of Star Trek you are. I would go on YouTube and pull up some Discovery clips and see if those intrigue you at all. If you're really into action, if you don't pine for Star Trek TNG, Star Trek TOS, Star Trek DS9, and you just want to see something new, then you may enjoy it. Picard, I haven't seen, so I can't really speak to that. I would suggest doing that, though. I would suggest, if you're going to watch Star Trek Discovery, get the free week and binge it all in a week and then cancel. Or, if you must, do the month and binge it all and then cancel. Do not, if you can get it out in a week, do it in a week, for sure. Good to see you doing more of these. Well, it's good to be doing more of these Hidden Trail videos. Both daughters will be in school in 3 weeks or so, so you'll see a lot more of these. And I'm gonna be able to hit it into high gear and get my stats back. I'm really excited. Personally, I like some of the Discovery designs, says Al Weifu. Well, fantastic. I would like to see a post-Dominion Trek. What happened after the treaty was signed? Yeah, you see, and it's 20 years after Nemesis, so I don't know if they're going to address it or not. What intrigues me is the more we see it, the more unlikely they have any of the original DS9 uniforms. Looks like it is a return to TNG when it comes to the uniforms themselves, or early DS9. So the interesting piece is does the Federation almost instantly return to who they were? It honestly makes very little sense to me if they instantly return to who they are from a pragmatic and from a common sense standpoint. Simply because that just doesn't happen in the real world. However, that said, they do, it would be very Starfleet, very Federation. Doesn't make much sense. If it wasn't Starfleet or the Federation doing it, I would say that it is dumb. But Starfleet doing it actually does make quite a bit of sense. There's a really good ship that undercover Picard could command a civilian that is the Federation civilian ship from the Icarus from Star Trek Renegades. Sounds vaguely familiar. It's been a while since I've watched Star Trek Renegades. Hey, Lord, did you hear about the hypothetical DS9 Season 8 premiere episode and how dark it was? No. I unfortunately wasn't able to go and see I actually bought the tickets for it, and I didn't refund them because I still wanted to support it, but I wasn't able to actually go see it, or I would have done a review of it. I heard... I'm gonna watch it and do a review of DS9, What We Left Behind. I have heard they've tried to make it more progressive than it actually was, that, you know, they were the first and all of a sudden they are hitting all these special points, when I think what was great about DS9 is that they tried to normalize things and they weren't trying to get special social justice points. And so I don't know how I feel about it. 61 people watching, only 19 likes. I mean, do you want the boss under me to survive? Do you want him to continue on? I mean, come on, folks. Get in the game. I do like Angry Admiral's ship from the second episode of Discovery and the Shinzo's design. The Angry Admiral. Okay. I like a lot of the designs in Discovery as well. I don't like the Discovery itself, but there are quite a few designs that I enjoy. Love your Egyptian back. Well, thank you. I made it just for you. Definitely wasn't something I found. DS Knock comes out on DVD next month. You can pre-order on Amazon now. Well, I hope that they allow me to actually stream it, because me, like most of the rest of the world, we don't generally utilize DVDs. They should either do Picard Post-Dominion or Picard Captaining the Stargate. Captaining. I think you mean captaining? Being captain of the Stargazer. They are doing a Post-Dominion Picard, but the question is the Dominion going to come into it at all? I honestly just... I'm concerned for how they're going to go about it, because my thoughts are, instead of them doing what would make sense, which again is to have a Starfleet that becomes heavily militarized because of what happened in Nemesis, because of the Dominion War, because of how everyone would just react to that, because so many people died in theory. I wonder if they're going to do something really stupid and make it some kind of reason that just doesn't make a ton of sense. Like, I don't know, make Starfleet suddenly become xenophobic and make it an all humans thing, or just something ridiculous. I don't know. In the original series, when Kirk steals the Enterprise, it is followed by the Excelsior. The captain of the Excelsior says to engage the transwarp drive. Is that the same transwarp drive the Borg have? Don Juan, we have no reason to believe that's the same drive. In fact, and I'm surprised you've not seen the video, unless you're just asking it to get it out there, or you're trolling me. But I actually have a video out where I discuss how I think the transwarp actually never failed. They made transwarp successful. It just became the new warp guidelines. So the reason why you have the original series warp and the new warp in TNG, DS9, and Voyager is because transwarp was so successful that they changed the entire scale. And so all of the ships are now transwarp. But they just used warp because it was just a more effective warp, right? So it still used all of the same basics. It was just faster and more effective. Starfleet needs to be more militarized. They need to understand they are a military force that also strong science and exploration arm. I would agree, but I think that historically, ever since TNG, they have not always looked at themselves like that. So I think a really great conversation, a great series, would be about them returning to their roots. Do you think they will have created a slipstream or quantum slipstream drive? Probably not. Maybe. The transwarp theory is headcanon to me now, says Thodner. It makes the most sense. It's what bridges everything. We never hear what happens to transwarp after that. And it makes no sense that just because Scotty sabotaged the transwarp, that they throw their hands up and they're just like, well, I guess it doesn't work now. I guess we don't have engineers that can see it was sabotaged. So that's just my opinion. I don't know. What do you guys think? 34 likes, and what do we have? 71 concurrent viewers. Come on, people. Hit that like button. I wish we could have had more seasons of Enterprise to show the Earth-Romulan War. I wish so, too. Picard could be disillusioned over having to commit a near atrocity to save the United Federation of Planets from a great enemy. I don't think they're going to do that. What I think they're going to do is, because we know it's related to the destruction of Romulus, which has always been canon. I don't know why people have such a hard issue with that. Just because it's in the JJ verse doesn't mean it didn't happen. In fact, it's what caused the JJ verse, so it happened in the original timeline. I mean, it's not, oh god, it's like arguing with a flat earther. Anyway, it's going to be at the destruction of Romulus. We know he has to make a decision that will cause him to question everything, and he leaves Starfleet. So it could be one of a couple of things. They could use the good old Section 31, find out Section 31 was the reason Romulus is destroyed, or the Starfleet decides not to help Romulus when they could, and use it as a tactical advantage, or because they're scared of what could happen. I think that it's going to be revolved around. It's going to revolve around Starfleet for whatever reason, either causing the destruction of Romulus or not assisting the Romulans. If I had to guess. But again, my opinion. Some of us avoid watching JJ verse so we don't realize it was canon, says Jay. Well, and I'm not even if you didn't watch the JJ verse stuff, that's fine. I'm not even talking to that. It's funny because when I talk about that, people get so bent out of shape about it. It's okay. So for those who haven't watched it, spoilers. The Hobus event occurs and just destroys Romulus. They attempt to stop it. Spock attempts to stop it by using whatever, some kind of red goo of whateverness that creates a time portal that sends both Spock and the main antagonist of the first J.J. verse movie back in time, which changes that universe. However, here's the thing. It's destroyed in the prime timeline, in the main canon. So I think transwarp is the natural next step and should be taken, and Borg weaponry and shielding would be the next step for Star Trek since Voyager, and they would have a need and use for them. Well, yes, in theory, all of the Starfleet tech should have Borg tech in it. Should it be inspired by Borg tech? Because they specifically went out of their way to bring it back with Voyager. I mean, honestly, Voyager makes all of the other Alpha Quadrant powers obsolete. Just absolutely obsolete. Starfleet is going to be so powerful if they use the tech on Voyager. The only way it's not is if they choose not to use that tech, which would be utterly stupid, by the way. Yeah, it's called red matter. Another word for it would be MacGuffin, which is what I was thinking. Red matter, or and this is in Trek. They call it the MacGuffin. Yeah, go look it up. Watch the entire JJ verse, all of the series. You have to watch all of the movies. It's in there somewhere. Mark my words. Definitely not trolling you. Post-Dominion War probably has access to Dominion tech as well. Yeah, I mean, but Dominion tech is nowhere near as powerful as Borg technology, you know? By the way, 82 people watching this, only 42 likes. I mean, if the other 40 of you are scared and don't want this to continue to occur, then definitely don't hit the like button. Whatever you do, just don't, I don't want you to hit that like button. Don't do it. Don't hit it at all. Also, all the PTSD from the Borg could have caught up to Captain Picard. Most of Picard's family by 2370 are dead. Between 2379 and 2384, Picard's career. Yeah, I don't want to. I'm not interested in seeing post-traumatic stress syndrome Picard. I'm not. I am not in the slightest interested in that. You know? But that's just me. I'm just saying that they are... Oh, where you guys are talking about. Romulan Star Empire and Picard series post-Romulus destruction is a Syrian civil war situation, and Federation stays out because Prime Directive. I mean, I don't want to get into the Syrian war or anything. I honestly don't know enough about it, but I could see them doing that. I could see a lot of people getting hurt and Picard just not agreeing to that, you know? Maybe Starfleet caused the supernova to destroy the Borg and never admitted it. I think that if they're going to cause it to be Starfleet's fault for the supernova, for the Hobus event, it's going to be Section 31. I just guarantee you. Yes, but if you start mixing the shields draining, piercing aspects of Jem'Hadar weapons with Borg tractor beams. Huh. Well, yeah. Here's the problem with a post-Dominion War, and I've discussed this. Starfleet has become too OP. They are too overpowered. There isn't anything that in the Alpha Quadrant that really should be able to challenge them. And then with Borg tech and the defeat of the Dominion, that's all of the Alpha Quadrants. That's all of the quadrants' biggest powers. I mean, the Beta Quadrant had the Klingons and the Romulans. So all of the major quadrant powers have been defeated and their technology absorbed into Starfleet. Is there a lot of places to go? Ariel Ballet says, sorry if I'm sounding upset and angry, but I'm not. I'm just trying to make Starfleet maybe sound a certain way that would be considered an equal to what we're considered. I guess you're talking to somebody else and not me. Lord, do you think they are just using Picard as a crutch for the entire plot? And also, I think Starfleet is going to become fascists. I don't know what Starfleet is going to become. I Jeff Franklin is a hero. He just joined and liked the video because he's a hero, and that's what heroes do. My theory on Star Trek Picard is a bit cynical. Before Star Trek Picard was announced, they discussed how Sir Patrick Stewart. They discussed how Sir Patrick Stewart was. They discussed how Sir Patrick Stewart was having problems finding work. I remember seeing that specifically. And then all of a sudden, we see Star Trek Picard come out. And I wonder if it's not an attempt to bank on nostalgia and Sir Patrick Stewart using his sway within the Trek world. I'm not against seeing him. I'm not sure they can do a really good story, especially with what they've described, you know? I don't know. The United Federation of Planets collapses into civil war. Picard sees these losses, and goes Malcolm Reynolds. I think a civil war with the Federation would be interesting, and maybe even would be logical and could be a really curious story. But again, I don't know if you do it with Picard. See, Picard has always been, and I guess here's my main issue. When I think Picard, I think basically the proto human, or the most advanced human, the best case scenario for Starfleet and the United Federation of Planets. I see him being propped up as, the best of the best. Like, the Picard of TNG was all about how humanity has moved past what it is and has become something better and just wants to explore and doesn't pick a fight unless he has to, and is basically, the evolved human that they try to tell us to be. And so now they're going to take that hero and they're going to make him something he's not. They're going to try to make it PTSD, distressed. I don't know. Ariel Belay, why is the HP going down, Lord? Does that mean you're at risk? No, the HP goes down when you give super chats or you subscribe, and you're trying to defeat the boss. It's a boss that you're attempting to defeat. See, it's fun. This whole thing is fun. Yeah, Michael Lindsay, the Picard is basically, he's a total poster boy. I agree. So here's the thing with that, though, I discussed this in a previous, when I was talking about Mary Jane, or MJ, not Mary Jane, MJ, and Xavier. In writing, characters have levels, effectively. It's called a character evolution. You have a character 0, which is an animal, someone you can never relate to. A level 1 is a loner, and then you have a character level 5, which is someone who is basically like darn near religious and only believes in the outer group and something more. And of course, we have Ariel Belete, who subscribed, which will take more damage off of this, though I'm pretty sure that... oh, no, they became a member. Rock it out. So, by the way, guys, if you don't know, you can actually become a member, which is a monthly subscription. You get all the perks that Patreon people do, and it really helps out the channel. Thank you so much, Ariel. You rock. So anyway, so Picard is a level 5, character level 5. And basically, he believes in the Federation. He believes in the Prime Directive at a fault. And what a character 5, someone who believes in this religion or this ethos, isn't necessarily the greatest person either, right? They have their own flaws. Again, Picard believes in the Prime Directive at the expense of entire worlds. So, again, level 1 is a loner. Level 5 believes almost in a religion, or is like a god. And so I would say that Picard becomes a level 5, right? Or he is a level 5. And now what they're wanting to do is they want to take him down to a level 2 or a level 1. And you can't really do that easily without having some kind of arc that explains it. And I feel like I'm just babbling. I haven't explained it very well. So let me know if you guys want me to re-go through that. But ultimately, we see him going from the total poster boy to someone with post-traumatic stress syndrome who has lost all hope or who doesn't believe in Starfleet anymore. And without the compelling story, without the character evolution of how we go from a 5 to a 1 or even a 5 to a 0, it won't be able to connect. It will be so different that it might as well be a different character. Now, by the way, guys, the objective is to kill the boss. That's how you save me, is you kill the boss. So it's good that the HP is going down. Where was I going with that? So you can go from like a character level 5 to 4 to 3 to 2 to 1. It's possible. It takes a long time to do. Ghost of Rasslin helping me out, given 20 DKK. Thank you so much. Not sure what kind of money that is, but I sincerely appreciate it. Ariel Balete, must save Lore Reloaded. You are saving me. You are killing the bosses. By the way, guys, you don't know how much that helps out, especially with changes YouTube is doing. I really appreciate it. Will the Kitamura Accords expand to include more Milky Way powers? I doubt the Kitamura Accords. I don't think the Kitamura Accords will be there for much longer. If they stay true to the show, Klingons will be absorbed, I think. Something I've often wished for, Star Wars, Star Trek, Halo, Splinter Cell, and Ghost in the Shell combination with all their techs at war against all of the bad guys. That would be insane. I worry they will do to Picard what they did to, like, Skywalker. You know, yeah, and I mean, that's completely legitimate. I wonder, and I'm concerned that they'll do that as well. Though, there's an interesting theory that I saw that I wasn't able to share, that I wanted to share on my Twitter. Go to twitter.com/Lore Reloaded. I share all kinds of memes and stuff, especially Trek related. I also talk about politics, so if you get upset about that, or you can't stand someone who doesn't agree with what you agree with, might not go there. But there's a theory that he was dead the entire time. That would be really interesting. What if Skywalker, because you see his destroyed X-Wing, or it looks destroyed. What if he was a Force ghost? I mean, it makes it a little weird with Yoda, but still, it's interesting. Picard was always a super idealist with an unshakable belief in the human spirit, which is why I always liked his interactions with Hugh. He widely attempted to point out his faults. I agree. Again, that's the whole point of Picard. Picard was always the poster boy for the epitome of what Starfleet was supposed to be. And it's to see him go to that, and especially if they don't earn it, that would be unfortunate. Okay, you're saying that Picard cannot get from where he was to where he is without experiencing an arc in between, which would explain it, and to do so would create a new character, which shares. Yeah, so what I'm saying is that if you have PTSD Picard, who does not believe in Starfleet, who lost his faith in Starfleet and humanity, then that is a different character than we've seen. That is not the same person. And if you want it to be with Picard, then you have to start him at level 5 and move him down to level 1. And that is going to take more than an hour episode. You can't destroy... Picard took seasons upon seasons to be built up. It'll take more than one episode to break him down. Now, story writing wise, if you want to have him start out at level 1, the person we meet is level 1, and then throughout the first season, we see why he is what he is. Ariel Belete, Picard also lost his family in a fire. Sure, but that's also my point, Ariel Belete. He lost his family in a fire. Not only did he lose his family in a fire, he lost the little kid, the kid that was similar to him and that was going to carry on the line. And yet, He stays at a level 5. He gets through that and still has a belief in something that's more. So you're telling me that a person who lost his family is going to lose faith by something else that happens, something that's more dramatic than losing your own. There is nothing in this world that could happen that would overpower the loss of my family. Like my kids, if I lost my kids in a fire, as horrific as this sounds, there is not a nuclear bomb going off in New York means jack to me to my kids being killed in a fire. Now, but again, that's character evolution. And if you're saying that something horrific that happens with the Romulans is more impactful than what happened with his family, that's fair enough. I would argue as a writer that that's not relatable to a lot of us as an audience, to humans. Maybe I'm wrong, but for me, as a writer, as a storyteller, as a film student, I'm telling you, I don't think that that's relatable to the audience, and it's all about being relatable to the audience. Patrick Stewart is nearly 80 years of age. Fair play to him, but it would be unfair for fans to expect more than glorified cameo. I'm not saying he couldn't do a really good thing. I mean, we'll just have to see, you know? Ariel says, well, I'm not saying he'll lose faith. Was just saying he lost his family and Picard may be the strongest person in Starfleet, Sisko being a close second after losing his wife. Well, you know, and here's the thing, Ariel Battle. The commercials say he lost faith. It's not you and me saying he lost faith. The commercials say he lost faith. Now, again, if you're going to try to write it, you could say maybe they are going to tie that in, maybe after losing his family and now Starfleet is turning into something that never should have been. Again, it's just going to be dependent on how the writers do it and how they pull it together. They're going to have to be very, I guess, persuasive in their writing, or very nuanced, maybe is the word I'm looking for in their writing, you know? All right, guys. So I know this was a short one. As I said, in 3 weeks maximum, I'll be doing these on the weekly. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm going to try to do more and more. I appreciate you guys coming. I want to ask you something real quick. I'm going to do a video on this, but this is something that I'm throwing around because I want to see. As you guys know, I've been experimenting, and I do want to expand what I do. And every time I expand, it always comes at the cost because people watch me for my Trek. I mean, it is what it is. You guys, people like sci-fi, but if I go outside of sci-fi, I want to do a review of the Star Trek movies, and I kind of want to do it from a critical analysis and a step-by-step breakdown. I kind of want to have it a little more live-actiony, like Channel Awesome, but not exactly. It'll be more the Dom or things like that. And it probably won't be multi-part. It'll probably just be one big upload. But if I did that, I would probably need to lean more on Patreon and push that. So let me know. Would you guys like me to do movie reviews, the Star Trek movie reviews, kind of like the lore breakdowns and stuff, even if it came at the expense of smaller reviews? So instead of one review a day, Monday through Friday, it may be a couple of reviews in a week, and then you get a really big one at the end of the month. If I did that, would you be willing, if you don't already, to support me on Patreon? So 1, if you want to see it and you'd be willing to support me on Patreon. 2, if you want to see it but you wouldn't be willing to support me on Patreon because you can't or don't want to. I don't care, whichever. Or 3, if I should stay the way I am. And there's no judgment. So 1, 2, or 3, pick whatever you want. No judgment. And don't tell me if you can or you don't. Don't tell me if you can't or you don't want to. Just let me know your thoughts. And I'm going to give it a couple minutes, and then I think we'll end it right there. The reason I say that, though, is that to do it that way, I would have to lean more on Patreon, because I cannot, the way this is doing, to do this as a career, I cannot survive off of without doing one a day, or, again, relying more on Patreon. So let me know what you guys think. We'll give it a couple of seconds. 42, 0, I love it. I love you guys. I love the fact that you don't really care and don't want to answer it honestly, because that would help me out. So God bless every one of you. Honestly, I would do the same thing. I would probably answer with like a 6 or a 6 and 9 because I'm juvenile. Because you know what 69 is, right? It's related to sex, and who doesn't like sex, right? I mean, I'm a huge fan of it. Don't, you know, just the way I am. I hate you, Grunt. Hate you so much. By the way, no, again, as I said, for number 2, don't worry about, no need to apologize. I'm just asking where people are. Lord, just do what you want. But I can't do what I want. Or can I? Can I? I don't know. With Romulus and post-war militaristic Federation becoming increasingly authoritarian and fascistic. You guys are big on the Starfleet being fascist thing. Huge. Y'all don't like hitting the numbers. Okay, I see how it is. I see how you people are. I love all of you. And if I could marry you, I would. I would personally marry you. Like, I would either stay heterosexual if you're female. Most likely, I would become homosexual for every one of you. And yes, I probably should rob a bank. Guys, I want to thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to see you on the next Lore Reloaded. Dun dun dun. Dun dun dun. Dun dun dun.